Greetings, tech enthusiasts! I'm Kunal, your guide on this coding journey. Today, we're setting our sights on the intriguing universe of coding. It's a world filled with logic, creativity, and the power to build incredible things right from your fingertips. Now, whether you're a seasoned code warrior or a curious newcomer, this video is designed to make coding accessible, digestible, and dare I say, fun for all. We'll be dissecting a coding example, breaking it down into bite-sized pieces, and demystifying each line of code. We'll expose the thought process behind the code, give you the tools to decode it, and even guide you through creating your own. Our journey will be filled with exploration, understanding, and the satisfaction of seeing code come to life. So, buckle up for a deep dive into the exciting realm of coding. Opening. The focus of our coding adventure today is the concept of Python functions. Now, what are Python functions? Picture them as mini programs within a program. They're reusable chunks of code that perform a specific task. You define them once, and then you can call upon them whenever you need to perform that task. This saves you from repeating the same lines of code over and over again, making your code cleaner, more efficient, and easier to manage. Why are they important, you ask? Imagine building a house without using any tools. Sure, it might be possible, but it would take a lot of time and effort. Functions are like the tools for your coding project. They help you build your code faster and smarter. Moreover, functions are fundamental to the concept of dry programming, which stands for don't repeat yourself. It's a principle aimed at reducing repetition and improving efficiency in coding. Closing. With a good grasp on Python functions, you can take your coding skills to the next level. Before we begin, there are a few things you need to know. To get the most out of this journey, it's helpful to have a basic understanding of Python syntax and data types. This includes knowing about variables, loops, conditional statements, and functions, as well as data types like integers, strings, lists, and dictionaries. While we've designed this video to be beginner-friendly, having this foundational knowledge will definitely enhance your learning experience. If you're completely new to Python, no worries. There are plenty of resources available online to get you up to speed. Try some introductory Python tutorials or courses, and don't hesitate to practice what you learn. Remember, coding is like learning a new language. The more you practice, the more fluent you become. Building your proficiency in Python will not only boost your confidence, but also equip you with the tools to tackle more complex projects down the line. Now that we've covered the basics, it's time to roll up our sleeves and dive into coding. Welcome to the core of our journey, the coding demonstration. Today, we're going to walk through the creation of a Python function one step at a time. So let's dive right in. First, let's start by defining our function using the def keyword. This tells Python we're about to create a function. Next, we give our function a name. Let's call it greeting. This name should be descriptive of what the function does. Now we add parentheses after the function name. If our function needs any information to do its job, we would put those inside these parentheses. But for our greeting function, we don't need any information, so we leave them empty. Next, we add a colon. This tells Python that the next line is going to be the start of the function's block of code. On the next line, we indent our code. This is crucial in Python as it uses indentation to determine the grouping of statements. Now, we'll write the code that we want our greeting function to execute. Let's make it simple. We'll use the print function to output the phrase hello world. So we've written def greeting on the first line, and on the second line, with an indentation, we've written print hello world. Now whenever we call our function using greeting, Python will execute the code within the function and print hello world. But what if we want our function to greet a specific person instead of just saying hello world? We can do this by adding a parameter to our function. Let's add a parameter called name inside the parentheses of our function definition. Now, instead of printing hello world, we want our function to say hello, followed by the name we give it. So we'll change our print statement to print hello plus name plus. Our function now looks like this: def greeting name. On the first line and on the second line, with an indentation, we've written print hello plus name plus. Now, when we call our function with a name as an argument like greeting Alice, Python will print hello Alice. This is the power of functions in Python. They allow us to write a block of code once, Then we can execute that code whenever we need it, as many times as we need it, potentially with different inputs each time. And there you have it, a Python function created from scratch. We've just scratched the surface of what functions can do, but I hope this gives you a solid foundation to start exploring more on your own. Happy coding! Coding can sometimes feel like navigating a maze, but don't worry, I've got your back. When creating your Python function, you may encounter a few roadblocks. Let's address some of the most common ones. First off, the infamous indentation error. Python is very particular about white space, so make sure your code is properly indented. A single misplaced space can cause the whole function to malfunction. Secondly, name error often pops up when you're referencing a variable or function that hasn't been defined yet. If you come across this, double-check your spelling and ensure that the variable or function exists. Lastly, type error usually means that you're trying to perform an operation on a data type that doesn't support it, like trying to add a string to an integer. If you're stuck, error messages are your best friend. They can guide you to the exact line of code that's causing the problem. Remember, every coder makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them. We've covered a lot of ground today, so let's take a moment to recap. We delved into the fascinating world of Python functions, understanding their significance in simplifying repetitive tasks and enhancing code readability. We also walked through the process of creating a function, breaking it down into manageable chunks. Lastly, we tackled common errors and their solutions. All these components are vital in your journey to becoming a proficient programmer. I hope this has demystified Python functions for you. Before we part ways, I have a few humble requests. If you found this video helpful, show some love by hitting the like button. It really makes a difference. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. Got any questions or insights? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. For more in-depth understanding, check out the links provided. They're packed with great resources to further your learning. Thank you for joining me on this coding adventure. Until next time, happy coding.